Hi, I want to catch you up on quotation marks. We started learning about quotation marks on Thursday this week, and when to use them and how to use them correctly. So that's what I'm going to go through with you today. So quotation marks show when someone is speaking. They go before and after someone's words. So for example, did you like this book? Asked the teacher. And Tim replied, "It was the best book ever." So the pink here are the quotation marks, and those signal to the reader that that is what someone said. And there are three main rules of quotation marks. The first rule is that the quotation marks go around just the words that are spoken. So Max said, "Let's go on a picnic." It's just around "let's go on a picnic" because that's what Max said, not the whole thing. Okay, just the words that he actually said. Let's go on a picnic. The second rule is 2 on the top and 2 on the floor. So what we mean by that is you will always have, let me make this bigger for you. You will always have 2 quotation marks on the top, like you see here around "let's go on a picnic," but you also always have 2 punctuation marks on the bottom. So if you say Max said, and before you start your quotation, you need a comma. Max said, comma, "let's go on a picnic," period, quotation mark. Okay, and the quotation mark at the end always goes outside the punctuation, okay, not inside of it. You see the punctuation is inside, then we have like the bookend here of the quotation mark. So 2 on the top, 2 quotation marks, and 2 on the floor, 2 punctuation pieces. Also, the first letter of the first word, this should say word, the first word spoken is always capitalized. So even though this is like in the middle of a sentence, Max said, "Let's go on a picnic," because "let's" is the first word that Max said, that gets capitalized. Okay, so we're going to practice that a couple of times, remembering our rules. So I can't find my keys anywhere, Owen whined. Well, what Owen is whining, what he's saying is, I can't find my keys anywhere. So that's what my quotation marks are going to go around. And here, I do need some punctuation. I have 1 on the floor. I need another one. And remember that our punctuation at the end of the quotation is always inside the quotation mark. So I have a couple of options here. I can't find my keys anywhere could be an exclamation mark. Or I can't find my keys anywhere, Owen whined. You could just put a comma. The only thing you won't ever put in the middle is a period. The period is always saved for the end, but at the end of a quotation, you could do an exclamation, a question, or a comma if it's not at the end. Okay, let's look at another one. Eleanor giggled and said, "That's the funniest cartoon I've ever seen." Okay, what is Eleanor giggling and saying? That's the funniest cartoon I've ever seen. So let's put our quotation marks around that. Oops. Okay, and we have 1 on the floor. We have our exclamation point. So we need to remember before the quotation that we put our comma after said. Oops, we got all this again. Let's look here. Isabella said, "This is the best book I've ever read." Okay, remembering our rules. I know I'm going to need a comma after said because here is what she says. This is the best book I've ever read. And I'm going to keep that exclamation mark inside the quotation. I wish I could go to recess right now, sighed Walker. So this author is using the word sighed instead of said because it's a better, more specific word. So what is Walker saying? He's saying, I wish I could go to recess right now. So that gets our quotation. We already have our comma on the floor. Very good. And then a period at the end. So that one is good. One more. Sandy asked, how many days until the Valentine's Day party? Okay, Sandy's asking this, so we need a comma here and a quotation. And look, remember the first word that they say always needs to be capitalized. So that H needs to be a capital H. And then here's what she's saying. How many days until the Valentine's Day party? Question mark, quotation mark. All right. So that is a little crash course in quotation marks. We'll be practicing it some more in school, but I wanted to make sure you knew the three key rules of quotation marks, and they are: quotation marks go around just the words that are spoken, two on the top, quotation marks, two on the floor, punctuation, and the first letter of the first word spoken is always capitalized. Awesome.